So as now we are able to render our list of to-dos through mapping through our array of objects. Now let's say we have this GSX here, which whenever we map, we render this GSX, right? But let's say in real-time application, if you are mapping but rendering much complex GSX components, longer ones, have a lot of logic still inside. So what is the best way to handle that? Here it looks nice and simple, but in real time it can be a really long and really complex one. So the best way to do is extracting this and creating another component, which is a reusable component, and then you can import it in here. So let's see how we can do that. Let's create another component. Let's say call it I don't know, to do, and it should be capital, to do item. Okay, and then let's create our components, and I will call it to do item. Okay, and that's basically what we'll do. It will have for us this component here. I'll just come here. And we need to import few things, like for example, we need the style. We're using same style, we'll just import the same thing for now, but will come now for a different folder, and to be from list dot module css. And now let's pass a property. We'll call our function, let's remove this, call to do item, it will import it for me. So we need a way to pass all that data that we need here. We need, for example, the title, we need completed, and we need the key. Okay, so there are different ways to do it. Let's say the first thing we can pass to do, or we can call anything you want, and this one I'll pass this to do in here. And to not be confused, I will just call it something different to property here. I'll just call it item. Okay, so now you see here we just have to do item to do item to do item to do item, and the reason is because I didn't save this and then things are broken. See here it's complete from to do, and the reason is we don't have this to do defined here. Okay, so the property we pass is called item. I need to have that to do object for us. Then item, I'll say here item.key and item.title and item.completed. Let's save, and now it worked for us. Nice. So what we did is basically we extracted this GSX into a separate component to make it a reusable one. We may need it some other places, but even if you don't need it in other places, to keep your application readable and we keep whatever functionality for that component clear, we try to reduce them to as much small components as we can. For example, this list component, we know the main purpose for this list is to render list of items. It should not know what is this list of items. It should just map and render for us list of items. Then the list item itself, the item itself, will create a component for it, which will handle for us the rendering of that item. So like this, your code will be much clearer and much readable. Now we pass here to do as a property, and we came here and then we said, okay, our components expect an item, and then we read the values. Let's say here it looks too long to keep writing item.title, item.completed. Let's say you just want to keep them like this. Key, you can do item and keep it come. So your code is less not long, but very less and short, so your comp is much more readable. We can do that, and we can come here and we say this one extracted. Okay, I want key from it, I want title, I want completed. Save, and see our component still working, it didn't crash. Okay, this one I don't prefer it. It's not really nice though, but there's another way to do it. Is, for example, you can pass directly these properties from the parent. So I'm passing directly the key, the title, and completed. Here they don't exist, so everything's gone, and here everything marked as not completed. And the reason is we need to pass these properties by themselves. So we can do like this. We remove this, And so we have key is equal item dot key. Then you have title is equal item, no, to do dot title. Then we have our completed, which is to do dot completed. So this one will render, and we have something wrong because this is not item, should be this to do here. So to do. Good, nice. Now it's the rendering. So the other way is pass each property, okay, key and title and complement. These names here, again, you can name anything you want to make sense for you. Just make sure these properties names here or the props are same used here and read there. Okay, so this is another way to do it. Another thing, you say, okay, if I have a long list of properties and this is look too long, yeah, okay, there is shorter way to do it. And the way you can do is, for example, you extract that object and you do 3 dots to do. So this one will pass all the properties inside in here. It will pass it there. So if you come here, you will have even user ID, you will have ID, you have title, and you have completed. If I save, okay, and still it works because same properties of these ones I'm using here as well to read them. If they're different, then it will not work. So that's another way. However, this one is not very recommended, because if later, let's say you're expecting some data from API, and let's say by time the API developers or the backend developers, they go and change this property to render much more fields, which you don't need for this component at all. All those will be passed as a prop for this component, which will impact your performance again, which you don't want to happen. So best thing is to have control on it. It's either to do this way and you pass what you need, or you just pass the whole thing and at once and then you read it, you don't extract it. So I'll keep this one because it's shorter and I prefer that at the moment. In my case here, my item, and then I'll have here my item, and I'll just access that item. So item to be item dot key, and to be item dot title, and to be item dot completed. Save it, and voila, it works.